react much. I was like just looking at them a bit stunned. Like, why would you do that to me? Then luckily there were of course other stronger people that were nearby, and they were sort of like, hey, back off,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Would you characterize this experience in secondary school as bullying?
I mean, in modern terms, you would see it as bullying, right? Any parent would like, "Whoa, are you threatening my kid? You grabbing him by the collar, shoving him around, throwing things at him during canteen breaks." Like, they will see it as bullying, but I think back in my days, like the 80s and the 90s, right, our parents don't really care much about those things. Like, as long as you make it home safely, your teacher didn't complain about you, there was no calls from the school, principal didn't look for you, you're all good. Yeah, those were the times.
Don't trouble if trouble isn't troubling you.
Correct. As long as no news
It's good news.
is good news. Yeah.
Did you perceive it as bullying? You said that parents didn't perceive this behavior as bullying, but you on the receiving end, did you feel that you were being bullied?
If you were asking me, right, at that point in time, I didn't felt it was like bullying, but I did feel a certain fear, when people were like, manhandling me here and there, because I was pretty small size back then. But I won't go to my parents and say, hey, Mom, somebody is threatening me in school. They simply don't have the bandwidth to deal with this kind of thing. It's not that life-threatening. So in that lens, right, the 1990s lens, I won't classify it as like bullying. Maybe rough play.
If you were to look at it today, not just in the 2025 lens, but through the lens of a father yourself now, would you consider that bullying?
I would consider that bullying, to be honest, and I would prefer that the kids, they are more civil. Like I don't know, maybe the way that I have seen the articles and the some of those online videos that are circulating, it does look very bad if you're not in that situation. I mean, I don't know, even if I was there when they were taking the video, I would still think that it's bad.
Yeah. What was the qualitative difference? What was the difference between your experience in primary school when you suffered physical bruises, right, compared to your experience in secondary school? You didn't consider the experience in primary school bullying, but you would consider the experience in secondary school bullying. What was the difference between the two?
I think the difference is relationship. Like, who was doing this action? The verbal abuse and the verbal taunting and all that, I felt that it was like there is a little bit of ill intent, if I can put it that way. And I certainly didn't feel very comfortable on the receiving end. But strangely enough, I think you would have known that I became one of those people who taunt and teased a boy in my class. I think it was in secondary 2 when we had this new boy that came in. I think he was looking back, right? I think he was on the spectrum. He doesn't look anyone in the eye. So we were all looking at him like, hey, this guy, he's like a little bit different. Let us like do something. Then there were guys like just grabbing his bag and then like, hey, where's your bag? So it made him like his stuff is not safe and all that. And then some guys would just jump on his table randomly. Right. For me, I don't do anything physical. I would just talk to him and kind of like poke fun at him. Yeah.
And this was happening at the same time as when you yourself were being bullied?
No, I think by that time I was more or less settled in. The bullying part maybe is when I just
in secondary
joined.
1.
Yeah, Sec 1, when I was really very small, and then I had no friends. So by the time like maybe half a year passed, I had a group of friends whom I found actually speaks Mandarin.
So I'm like, tribe.
Yeah, like nice. So now I have some friends around me,
right.
And yeah.
So you didn't feel different.
Correct.
When you found your in-group.
Yes, correct.
And then the analogy, of course, is this other boy who was being bullied.
Yeah.
Right? He was the different one now, right? How much of it was learned behavior, you think? Because for you, your position was you were once the victim of the bully, and then you also did contribute some bullying behavior to this other boy who was different. How much do you think was learned behavior on your part?
Learn behavior. I think most of it was learned behavior. Like we see how the older kids like relate to us, and then we kind of internalize it. And then when we see someone different, unconsciously we do it to the person. I mean, for me now, looking back at my childhood, I see that, hey, how come I do it to some other kids and some other kids also do it to me? So it's like a
vicious cycle.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who are bullied go on to bully others.
Yeah, exactly.
Hurt people.
Yeah.
And was there a point though when you were in secondary school that you realized that this behavior was not correct?
To be honest, I actually didn't realize that it was inappropriate, until, I just met my secondary teacher, like, in the secondary school, like just a couple of days ago.
Okay.
We had a 30th anniversary meetup. Like we didn't see like the classmates
Wow.
and for 30 years.
Yes.
So we met up last week. Not sure what triggered that, but we met up and then we were talking about that boy. And then I was asking all of them like, do you guys remember this boy? And then they were like, yes. And then the teacher said that, yeah, he most likely was on the spectrum. Yeah, so I don't know. No, I just felt pretty bad thinking about it now that looking back, we didn't have the grace to show to someone who was different from us. And yeah, so now I teach my son like, hey, if someone is like behaves a little bit different, try to give him some space. Don't make fun of him or tease him, just to see how he'll react. Yeah.
And I want to thank you for your generosity in sharing this experience as well. Because, when you share this aspect of your experience, I can relate as well. Because I think for me, myself, I was in a rather similar situation as you were in. At some point in time, feeling that I was being picked on by others. Ironically, when it comes to the cultural background, our situations are a little bit inverse. I come from a very English-speaking family, and the school I went to was very Chinese-speaking. So I felt like I was the odd one out. And from time to time, there would be people, calling me names and things like that, and at some point in time, I also was verbally quite mean to another kid who was also different in some other way. So I think your experience, my experience, maybe not so uncommon after all.
Yeah.
Bullied people go on to bully others, and hurt people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But your experience with this idea of bullying takes a bit of a more interesting twist as well, because a few years later in national service, you would have a reunion of sorts with someone.
with my childhood friend, the one who allegedly punched me and left me with a lot of bruises. So we end up in the same platoon. Like, I don't know, it's fate or what, but he I think, if I'm not wrong, he actually dropped out of school.
Oh.
Like he went to secondary school. After that, I think he dropped out. And then I went on to junior college, and then somehow we end up in the same platoon, which was rare, I think, because the platoon usually they will recruit people similar education background, etc. But our platoon was really strange. We had people from JC, from poly, from school dropouts. So there's like a japalang mix of people.
Quite a salad.
Yeah, quite a salad. So when I saw him, I was like, hey, you. Then he was like, yeah, me. Then, okay, anyway, we weren't that close by then, because we went to different schools after primary school. So I met him, and then like I told you, right, I wasn't a very pleasant person back during the NS days. And then
what do you mean by that, if I can ask you?
I want to escape from everything lah. Like when I was a young man, I want to like, hey, you're going to do this. Wash toilet. I don't want to wash. Like I just act as if I didn't see anything.
Okay, all of us who've been through NS, I think, at some point in time, we may have done that also.
Yeah, just try to like siam all the duties and all that. And then some of my platoon mates are pretty upset with that. They see that, this guy is always trying to, siam all the duties. So when I went out of course, right, because of some injury, and then a few of them actually kind of plotted to give me a blanket party.
Explain what a blanket party
So
is.
blanket party is like it's a NS term lah for at night, right? They will just pull a blanket over you, and then everybody will like give you some blows.
as in whack you on your back lah.
Sending you off nicely, quote.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they plan to do that, and then somehow this childhood bullier, right, friend from primary school, he actually told them like, hey, leave him alone lah. Like in Chinese, he said 看他小, don't do that to him. He's like just a petty guy, ignore him. So in that group also was another one of my friends from JC, not particularly close, but we were classmates. Then he shared with me this incident. No? Eric, do you know that you were saved on the last day by this friend who spoke up for you?
Oh,
so
the friend who gave you the bruises in primary school.
Correct. So when I heard it, I was like, what? Wow, I was very surprised that he stood up for me. I mean, you would expect a close friend to stand up for you in that kind of circumstances, but certainly not someone who has, not been in close contact and basically isn't that close to you. So I was quite surprised. I think he still think of me as like his childhood friend.
Right. Do you know, did you have a conversation with him about it later on?
No, as I said, by then we weren't that close, and I just heard about it third hand from another platoon mate who happens to be my classmate also. So it was like, okay, I hear about it. Then I kind of have some sort of reflection on it, like particularly before coming to meet you. And I thought about it also, like, hey, it's just so, what's the word for it?
Serendipitous.
Yes. So it's like, wow, you didn't expect things to turn out this way, and it just so happens.
He gave you bruises in primary school, and he saved you from a lot more bruises in NS.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's like a, wow. It's
life is interesting.
Yeah, it comes in a big circle.
Eric Kwa sharing with us his experience with an issue that more of us, I think especially parents, have become more sensitized to in recent months. When we continue our conversation in just a little while, how a particular teacher became a role model in courage for Eric, not just in standing up to bullies, but also about starting his own tuition center, which is called Mr. Khemistry. And that's Khemistry with a K, by the way. And of course, Eric shares with us as well his letter to himself. Stay with us on CNA 938. The 8:30 news coming up in 3 minutes. Good evening.
Ready, jet, set, go! Singapore Airlines Time to Fly travel fair deals are still on. Book these attractive deals with our participating travel agents on singaporeair.com or flyscoot.com from now till 6 November. Fly to Hong Kong from $278 and Brussels from $888 on Singapore Airlines, or fly one way to Taipei from $120 and Qingdao from $195 on Scoot, and more. Hurry, don't miss the chance to book these amazing travel deals. Find out more at cna.asia/time to fly.
Dear, it's been nearly 2 years with UnlimitedWash.sg, and our car always looks presentable.
Yes, with 7 branches and more to come, they're efficient, clean, and super convenient. Maybe it's time to take it to the next level.
In collaboration with Groomworks, UnlimitedWash.sg now offers premium nano coating plus a whole year of unlimited wash for only $8.99.
Or split into 4 easy installments with GrabPay later.
Limited to only 100 slots. Sign up now at UnlimitedWash.sg and keep your car looking brand new every day.
Families staying strong during tough times. Family Ties with Susan Ng.
But it's a lot more about understanding her perspective as well.
Yeah, and that's important.
Yeah, looking for who will understand my perspective. Through this, we actually do understand each other a lot better.
Talk to a trusted adult, and then the kids will tell me, yeah, I tell my parents, but they don't believe me.
Family Ties, Saturdays at 11 a.m. and 10 p.m. on CNA 938. This is CNA 938, your city, your world.
Both sides used missiles, drones and fighter jets before it ended with a ceasefire announcement.
Meta has been aggressively hiring in order to challenge rivals such as OpenAI, Google and Anthropic.
This is CNA 938,
Streaming live on CNA.Asia and on Me Listen, the new home for free digital audio from all of MediaCorp's radio stations. As well as listening live, you can also log on for podcasts and other interactive features.
This is CNA 938. Understand Asia.
It's 8:30. Good evening. The US and China have agreed to ease trade tensions that have created months of international turmoil. The leaders met face-to-face in South Korea today for the first time in 6 years. US President Donald Trump called the meeting a roaring success, while China's President Xi Jinping offered a more muted response, saying a consensus has been reached on solving an economic dispute. The Chinese leader earlier urged the two countries against falling into a, quote, vicious cycle of revenge. CNA's Otelli Edwards with this report now, featuring an English voice-over of Mr. Xi's remarks in Mandarin shortly before the closed-door meeting commenced.
I always believe that China's development goes hand in hand with your vision to make America great again. Our two countries are fully able to help each other succeed and prosper together. Over the years, I have stated in public many times that China and the United States should be partners and friends. This is what history has taught us and what reality demands.
Now, China has agreed to pause its latest round of rare earths export restrictions for a year, a move Mr. Trump says removes all roadblocks in the critical sector. Now, he also shared that China will buy what he calls a tremendous amount of American soybeans and farm goods. Beijing confirms it's postponing higher port fees on American vessels, similar to the U.S. on Chinese vessels. But Washington is also slashing tariffs on Chinese goods to 47% from 57%, which Mr. Trump says is due to China's promise to stop the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. China will resume its access to U.S.-made chips, including those made by industry leader NVIDIA.
I think pretty soon. We have not too many major stumbling blocks. We have a deal. Now, every year we'll renegotiate the deal. But I think the deal will go on for a long time, long beyond the year. We'll negotiate at the end of the year. But all of the rare earth has been settled, and that's for the world.
French police have arrested 5 more people over this month's daring Louvre Museum jewelry robbery. Among them, a prime suspect the police had been eyeing, though none of the loot worth an estimated $102 million have been recovered. DNA evidence linked the main suspect to the theft, suggesting that he was among the 4-man team that carried out the brazen heist on the 19th of this month. The 5 detentions took place on Wednesday in and around Paris, particularly in Seine-Saint-Denis, a region just outside the French capital. The arrests followed the detention over the weekend of 2 men suspected of breaking into the museum through an upstairs window and stealing the precious pieces. The heist has exposed security lapses at the world's most visited museum. Among the 8 precious pieces of jewelry that were stolen are an emerald and diamond necklace that Napoleon I gave his wife Empress Marie-Louise, and a diadem that once belonged to the Empress Eugenie, set with nearly 2,000 diamonds. More people in Singapore are gainfully employed, with growth in this area going faster than expected in the third quarter of the year. The Manpower Ministry also said in the advance release of its quarterly report that retrenchment rates are stable. Roland Lim tells us more.
Total employment in the period of June to September grew by almost 25,000. That's more than doubled from the previous quarter. The growth came from both residents and foreigners. Residents were getting jobs in sectors such as finance as well as health and social services. Now, for foreigners, the increase came mostly from work permit holders in the construction and manufacturing sectors. Unemployment rates remained low at 2.8% for Singaporeans and 3% for permanent residents. The ministry says the numbers are within the range reflected in the non-recessionary years of 2015 to 2019.
The bakery chain 12 Cupcakes has ceased operations as of today. In a statement on its website, the company said it had been placed under provisional liquidation. 12 Cupcakes operated outlets at locations including Changi City, Sentosa, and Star Vista. It was founded by former radio DJ Daniel Ong and Jamie Teo, who were married at that time, and sold to India-based conglomerate Dunseri Group in 2016. In 2021, the company was fined nearly $120,000 for underpaying 7 employees about $114,000 between 2016 and 2018. Ong and Teo were subsequently fined $65,000 each under the Employment of Foreign Manpower Act. And that's the news here on CNA 938. For headlines anytime, stay with us. You can also get those headlines and the full stories on cna.asia. Quick check on the traffic situation at this point in time. A vehicle broken down on the SLE towards the BKE after Yio Chu Kang Road. Another one stalled on the AYE towards Tuas after Penjuru Road. Please, of course, drive with care wherever you are. Thanks so much for staying with us on A Letter to Myself on CNA 938. I'm Joel Chua. Our guest today is Eric Kwa, founder of the tuition center Mr. Khemistry, and that is chemistry with a K. He's been sharing with us his experience when he was in school, when he was on both sides of the equation when it came to bullying. Eric now shares with us what he'd say in his letter to his younger self.
I would say, I think in terms of bullying, we want to stand up for ourselves if we are being bullied by someone, to know that a line has been crossed. And if you felt uncomfortable, fear, dread, or even depressed that someone is treating you in a certain way, be it physical or even maybe verbal, you want to voice it out. If you cannot really bring yourself to stand up in front of the aggressor, maybe speak to someone trusted. There's a school counselor in, I think, every school now. They will keep things confidential, and they will try to resolve the matter based on what you said, and they'll escalate it and still keeping it confidential, sort of. So I think that's one thing I would tell my younger self, to stand up for yourself. And then
if I may ask at this point, that before we go to the second message to your younger self, right? You said that stand up for yourself if you believe or if you feel that a line has been crossed.
Yeah.
What is that line?
I would say that line is probably something that your gut or your emotion is telling you, because sometimes physically you may not think that is a very big deal, but if you feel fear, like dread or even depression coming on, and then you don't want to go to school, or you don't want to go a certain place because of what a person may do to you, then that line has been crossed. So it's when you should speak up for yourself. Second part would be another letter, maybe.
Another message or another letter? That's right.
Yeah, another message would be to put yourself in the other person's shoe. In short, to have empathy for the other person.
And this is to the version of yourself who was
making someone feel dread. The last I heard about a classmate that I kind of teased, he hated coming to school. Like, that's what I heard from the other classmates. So I would tell myself, have grace for people who behave differently, who even looks different from you, and try to understand their culture, their background. They may not actually be local even. Some of them may be on the spectrum. So I would tell my younger self to read up more, find out about people, where they're from, and the difficulties they may have, in the environment that we are in, rather than to poke fun at them and then see how they react, So maybe the second letter will be to have empathy.
Yeah. What happens, right, if you are in a larger group of people and most of that group are making fun of that one person, and you feel that if I don't join in with the rest of them making fun of that one person, I will feel left out, and then I will start to be the outsider again.
Okay, so that brings me to one of the things that I was actually very impacted by, because I told you I just met my secondary school teacher. She was like the best teacher I ever had in my whole life. So I met her last week for a dinner on Friday, and the way that she talks to us about how she was as a teacher, right? There was one word that actually sprang out in my mind. That word is courage. She actually had the courage to stand up to people, even her superiors, and to tell them off if she felt that, they have not done something right. Something that she will stand up for what she believed in. So as to reply to your question, right, if everyone was making fun of, ganging up against this classmate who was different, what would I do? I would tell my younger self, go ahead, tell them off, stand with the boy who was being bullied, stand with him, stand up for what you believe in, because that's what makes us human. Yeah, the values that we have. So if we are complicit, just allowing people to do the things that are not right, and then you stand by, you are actually one of the perpetrators. So I think, to me, now having lived for 40 over years, I want to live by values. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Eric. Yeah. That's your second message to your younger self.
Yeah.
What's your next message to your younger self?
Okay, one more message will be like to travel widely. Because when I was younger, right, I didn't have much opportunities because I came from a lower middle income family, and my parents were not exactly very well to do. So we didn't really travel. The first time I took a plane was like 25 years old. Yeah, so I would tell my younger self, like, travel as much as possible, see other cultures, other people, broaden my horizons, and, learn as much as possible about the world and the people that live in it, and not to be cooped up in my small little social circle. Yeah, so that is maybe a message I will send to my younger self.
What was the most significant difference for you when you did decide to step out of that little group?
I would understand people better.
Empathy,
yeah. I will empathize with people a little bit more. I won't say that I'm like very expert at this, but it at least helped me to see that, I am lacking in this area. I still need more perspective. I am still learning. So at least I know that I don't know.
Was there a particular experience for you that you would look back and say that this experience really changed the way I look at things?
Okay, so maybe let me quote one from a Taiwan trip that I went. I went for this Taiwan trip with a group of friends, right? And then I told one of my other friends that I was going for this Taiwan trip. And then he just dropped a message to his Taiwan friend, right? And say that, hey, I have a friend coming over to Taiwan. Could you take care of him? So just a simple message. And then I thought, that was it, right? Just say hi, welcome us to Taiwan and all that. But no, when we reached Taiwan, right, she came to pick the whole group of us up, brought us out for dinner, pay for the whole dinner, and it was a seafood dinner, so I think it was not cheap. And she paid for everything, and then she drove us to a drinking spot. And then she paid for all the drinks, and then she gave us souvenirs from cake shops and don't know what not, a whole bag of souvenirs for all of us.
And this was just like a friend of a friend?
A friend of a friend. And then my friend actually just dropped her a text. Take care of my friend. One text, and the hospitality that was shown to us, it blew my mind. I was like, what? I barely knew this person, and she just, because I'm a friend of a friend, she welcomed me to her country, and the warmth and hospitality that she's shown. So
did that reshape the way that you show hospitality to others? As well,
definitely. So when I have friends or people coming in from overseas, relatives or friends, whatever, they come over, and some of them they even stay over at my place. I try to show as much hospitality as I can, like just welcoming them to Singapore, making them feel at home, doing everything I can to make them feel very welcome.
That's really nice. Thank you for sharing that, because you had that experience that expanded your horizons as to what being hospitable could be.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that second message. Expose yourself to new experiences. Travel more widely. You have another message to your younger self?
There's one last one which I felt was really important, which is to not fear failure. Yeah. So I think in my younger days, I always choose to do the simple thing, the easy route, the safe thing. So all my life, if I have two choices, right, I would choose the easier one, the safe one. Yeah. So I would tell my younger self to sometimes, if something scares you, do it. Obviously it shouldn't be illegal, but do it. If it scares you, do it if it's hard. Because everyone is doing things that are easy. So if you keep doing things that are easy, you end up just like everyone.
Eric Kwa, founder of the tuition center Mr. Khemistry. When we continue in just a little while, Eric shares with us what gave him the courage and the purpose to take the biggest risk he had taken up to that point in time, and how he's worked hard to make it pay off. Stay with us on A Letter to Myself on CNA 938.
The right way with CNA 938. At 7 a.m., we rev things up with Open for Business, your daily dose of market insights, the latest financial news, and expert analysis you can bank on to gain the fiscal foundation for the day ahead.
Then from 8 to 10 a.m., stay locked in for the morning report. We break down the headlines, discuss the issues, and get to the heart of the stories that matter. With expert interviews to give you all you need to start your day.
And sometimes we sneak in a little bit of Taylor Swift.
It's me. Hi. So join me, Haryanto Diman,
and
confront fear. That has been a recurring theme in our conversation with Eric. From the time he was a student to later in life, when circumstances pushed him to take a big risk and do something that he had never imagined himself doing.
I would say that the thing that I did, despite being fearful, is starting my tuition center. Because you know, right, that I was a school teacher before that, and I really didn't dare to set up my own center. I didn't want to. I am not an entrepreneur. I'm a true-blooded employee. Like, please give me my salary, stable job. Don't ask me about anything else. But when the schools merged, I didn't have a choice, and I had to find my own job. And I think I'm a one-trick pony, kind of. So I'm like, okay, I'm good at teaching. So
specifically chemistry.
Specifically chemistry. So what can I do? Teaching chemistry. So my wife and my friends say, why not you set up a center? But I was very resistant to the idea because I had no idea how to do business. So to me, that was the most scary thing I did. And I pushed through primarily because of my son. Because I set up the center like a few months after he was born. So my wife would say, do it lah, If you don't, then, she'll point to him and I'll be like, what? so it's a do or die.
New beginnings.
Yeah, new beginnings. So that gave me the final push, I would say. And I came out on the other side and I realized that, hey, it's not that scary, just keep going, If you don't give up, you won't fail.
But it's easy to say in hindsight.
Of course. If I were to go back, that's why I would write a letter to my younger self to not fear failure. Take the risk. If in life we don't take any risk at all, right, we won't accomplish anything worthy. Yeah, we have to take risks.
Right. You started the center, the tuition center, Mr. Khemistry, with a K, Khemistry, after your surname, I mentioned. Eric Kwa. In 2017.
Yes.
Right. What do you credit your success in this industry? I mean, it's a very competitive industry.
Yeah.
We know that tuition in Singapore.
I would say at the start, it was really very tough. I mean, not going to mince my word. It's really very competitive, very tough. And if you don't stand out, right, you are one in a sea of hundreds or even thousands of teachers. So parents nowadays, they have so much choice, right? Why do they have to come to you? So I think after the initial first few years of slogging it out, I think I have worked out the magic formula.
What is that? Can you say your secret sauce?
Yes.
What is the chemistry to your
Yes,
success?
I'm going to share with you the secret sauce. The secret sauce is to put your best for your students.
Okay, to be honest, I was expecting the drum roll was playing, but then when you said the secret sauce, it was okay. You know what? Everyone will say that lah. But how are you doing it differently?
you have to back up your words, yeah. So everyone says that we do our best for the students. So you have to put in the work. So how did I put in the work, right? Like every week is the weekly lessons, right? Everyone does that weekly lessons. You have to plan for a lesson. Well, engage them before the lesson, pre-lesson homework, after the lesson, after lesson assignments, during the lessons, demonstrations. You have to prep for the demonstrations, and also outside of lesson, what lessons do you bring to them? Like, I conduct free online lessons every week on TikTok Live. So I give to students lessons free. Even those that are not in my center, I would teach them.
Yeah, it's publicly accessible. Anyone can tune in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So those who are financially not that well off, they cannot afford the tuition. They also can have access to the teaching. But it's the shorter version. They don't get like all the resources, like some of it. Okay, so I think showing up for the students before, after, during the lessons is very important. They see that the dedication that you have when you go through the work. They see the dedication you have when you craft materials, compile cheat sheet, summary, and all those things. And I have a student portal for them as well. So I think at the end of the day, right, the student feel it. They feel whether are you truthful with what you're saying. You say that, hey, I give my best to my student. But when they attend your lesson, do they feel that you're giving your best?
Yeah. I have a feeling it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it.
Yeah, it's how.
That's like the talk about secret sauce. That's the secret sauce for any kind of interaction, right? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And people, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
You are so right. I actually remembered something that I wanted to share with you earlier, but I kind of forgotten it just now. So can I just patch in one last point? The way that my secondary teacher made me feel, right? The one that I met with last week, she connected with us, as playful boys, rebellious. We didn't want to study, but she connected with us where we are. And we felt that, wow, this teacher really cares.
How did she connect with you?
Okay, for example, right, the very first bio test, she was a bio teacher, that she gave to us, I failed it. I failed her test. And then she said, Eric, stay back after school. Or to fail the test, stay back and take a retest. So teachers back then, right, they didn't have to. They didn't have to stay back, give us remedial, free of charge, taking up all their time. She taught me how to do that test. She wanted me to succeed. To say, Eric, sit here. This is why you fail. Do this, do this, do this. Now here's the test again.
Yeah.
And I passed with distinction.
Wow.
I scored 9 upon 10. So I was like, in my young, impressionable mind, right? Even now when I think back, is how she connected to us. She made us felt that we can also achieve. We were nobody special. It was like a St. Pat's back in my days, right? It was not like really a top. It's no RI lah. It's not Raffles. But she made us feel that we too can achieve if we put in the work.
I love how this goes back to this idea that we had at the start of our conversation. You know, we talked about bullying at the start, right?
Yeah.
It's learned behavior.
Correct.
Hurt people go on to hurt people.
Yeah.
And in this case, an inspiring teacher inspires others to go on to be inspiring teachers, or in your case, maybe inspiring tutor.
Yeah, exactly.
Eric, thank you so much for sharing this journey. You know, we usually end off this way. If you could write another letter this time to your future self.
One more letter.
One more message and one more letter. What would you say in this way?
I would say future self, right? To be clear in who you spend your time with. To give love to people who loved you. My parents are still alive. I would definitely hope that I can spend more time with them, because in the years that I'm growing up, and also the years that I'm now, busy working, caring for my own family, I wasn't able to spend a lot of time with my parents, and they are the ones who nurtured me and care for me. And at the end of the journey, right, I really pray that I can have time to spend with them, to kind of repay them for all the love that they've given to me. Yeah, and to show them how much I appreciate them.
Eric Kwa, founder of the Mr. Khemistry Tuition Center, on his journey of growth, which has given him such valuable insights on empathy, courage, and taking a risk to accomplish something worthwhile. My sincere thanks to Eric for sharing with us his journey and his letter to himself. You've been listening to A Letter to Myself on CNA 938. The 9 o'clock news coming up in about 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Family meals? We've got you.
Grocery runs? We've got you.
Need a ride? Whether it's public transport, ride-hailing, yep, we've got you too. With the DBS U card, enjoy up to 18% cash rebates on daily needs. Plus, sign up now with the promo code DBSYUU and get $80 worth of SO Fuel discount vouchers, plus $300 in cashback, subject to qualifying criteria. Check go.dbs.com/DBSYUU for more. Turn your daily spend into rewards with the DBS U card. With DBS, you are all rewarded.
Dear, it's been nearly 2 years with UnlimitedWash.sg and our car always looks presentable.
Yes, with 7 branches and more to come, they're efficient, clean, and super convenient. Maybe it's time to take it to the next level.
In collaboration with Groomworks, UnlimitedWash.sg now offers premium nano coating plus a whole year of unlimited wash for only $8.99.
Or split into 4 easy installments with GrabPay later.
Limited to only 100 slots. Sign up now at UnlimitedWash.sg and keep your car looking brand new every day.
Hi, I'm Sylvie. I'm a brick artist. I build models for various clients.